deputy. That's kind of and those steel-toed tips are the badge. And if any of those two get out of line, he's there to. Usually, it's a kick in the behind. It was a very standard um, grammar that how justice was administered. And I always like to call it real-time justice. I would update it because it wasn't like there was a stenographer there and someone documenting the situation. There wasn't no really bureaucracy around justice back then. It would just be someone, the guy at the end, doing something that annoys the alpha male, or the alpha male sees it as a point of conflict. And, he would get up. The guy would, the guy who was kind of testing the limits would start running away. And then the alpha male would run, and usually he'd be quick, and he would implement swift justice, real time justice. And he'd kick that gentleman in the behind. And it was a way of, um, it would again, he wouldn't want to destroy the day of work. He wouldn't want to kick him so hard that the guy couldn't finish his job. But he'd have something there to remind him each day to just say, like just that they would be smarting, and his behind would hurt every time he'd sit down. So yeah, remember, like for example, like let's say the guy at the end forgot his hat and forgot his protective gear, that hat, and you got to think the alpha male may have fought with upper management to get him that hat. Like they didn't want to give out the hat. They don't give the hat to everyone. Not everyone gets a hat. Um, you have to earn your hat, and then this guy shows up, doesn't have it, and then he tries to make light of it that no, well, I'll get the hat the next time. I feel lucky today, and then you can see how that would irritate the alpha male. It would stew with him, and he'd get up and he would rebuke him, reprimand him, and he'd be looking at him and measuring how serious he was taking it. But you can know, let's say he just has a smart mouth that morning and he starts with the wisecracks. The alpha male will try to get him in line. He will face him. Maybe the sun would kind of gleam into those steel tips and catch him in the eye. And maybe sometimes that would be enough, just standing up. But sometimes they'd have to go through the full, the normal exchange of real-time justice. And, and again, like I said, that looks very much like alpha male standing up, beta male taking the either situation lightly or serious, or maybe seriously. I mean, it depends. I mean, he may have been kicked the day before or 2 days before, and this is the third day. So now you're just deepening, um, the wound, so to speak, the pain. Now you're moving into kind of exponential um, pain, and so that's a normal exchange. Alpha male stands up, beta male stands up, and then beta male runs away. Now, running away is the perfect way to implement this real-time justice because someone's running and then someone kicks them in behind. It's a perfect way to implement this. It's a textbook. It's a textbook example. The only problem is sometimes um, you get what I call the reversal or the charge. See, if the person is charging him, it's very, very hard to kick them in the behind. You can see it's person is charging, and now and sometimes that happens. Like maybe there's not a charge, but you may have a novice who's standing up. He's never been never been this form of corporal punishment administered on him, and he doesn't realize he's getting himself into deeper water. He thinks it's just important. He's right. He didn't need to. He did. Maybe he didn't decide. This novice didn't decide to wear shoes that day, like wore thongs or flip flops into the mine, and that would be something that the alpha male would pick up on and say, no, you need to go get your shoes. Like, no, not today. Can't lose a day of work, but you have to wear shoes. And then he says, no, I think flip flops are fine. They're comfortable, and he may be more focused on the exchanged and the kind of the verbal dialectic of defending his stance. He's not realizing the alpha male standing up is really a sign that he's about to be kicked. So sometimes that could create, a problem, a misinterpretation. But the other one is just kind of the obvious, where the guy is sick of getting kicked, and he's like, "I'm coming at you now." Now the alpha male really has to stand his ground, um, and maybe the person is charging him. Now at that point he's facing him. So how is he going to kind of kick him in the behind? Now he might try to punch him in the behind. But there's really no dignity in that move. If he kind of kneels and just trying to get the punching someone who's behind, that just lacks dignity, and he will lose his status as alpha male, because who's going to have any respect for him he's after he's exhibited this kind of foolish looking punching someone in the behind. I think in that case, he's going to have to, there's a different escalation. There probably would be fisticuffs. And again, the beta male here feels that if I can beat this person, tomorrow I'll be wearing those shiny shoes. And if you look here too in this picture, right, you really see the gentleman at the end. You can almost see that he's probably saying something to begin to get on the nerves of the alpha male. And because he's watching the shoes. I mean, pay note to that. He's watching those shoes. He doesn't know. He wants to watch them because he's coveting those shoes. I mean, he's almost saying, and look, the one guy in the middle between them has leaned back. This is an OK Corral moment. This is two cowboys ready for a gunfight. And that's why, I mean, there's a lot when you unpack these pictures. There's a lot of things that you can pick up on once you start understanding more of the social dynamic. This is a very tense moment. This is the alpha male not want to show all his cards. Maybe he's a little tired of being the alpha male. He's tired today, and he's spread his legs apart a little bit, showing the two. I could see him tapping. It'd be nice if he had something to tap as this man is challenging him. Maybe could have been something that happened in the mine, earlier, where someone had a favorite pickaxe, and he thought it was his, and there was a conflict, and he had sided with the other guy. I mean, there could have been something like that.